السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. معاكم يا شباب مستر محمد البغدادي from Math Department, and we start today to make a revision for the important theorems, corollaries and rules of geometry for prep 1. Now we start with the angle. What is angle? The angle is the union of two rays with the same starting point. The angle is the union of two rays with the same starting point. And now we're talking about the types of angles. What is the types of angles? We have more types of angles. Firstly, we start with zero angle. Zero angle is the angle that its measure is equal 0 degrees. 0 degrees. And second, acute angle. Acute angle is the angle that its measure is more than 0 and less than 90 degrees. Number 3, the right angle. The right angle is the angle that its measure equal 90 degrees. And we must know that its sides will be perpendicular. Its sides will be perpendicular. Again, the right angle, its measure is equal to 90 and its sides are equal and its sides are perpendicular. Okay? Number 4, the obtuse angle. Obtuse angle is the angle that its measure is more than 90 and less than 180 degrees. The obtuse angle is the angle that its measure is more than 90 degrees and less than 180. Number 5, the straight angle. The straight angle is the angle that its measure is equal 100 degrees. It's the angle that its measure is equal 180 degrees. Now with the reflex angle. The reflex angle is the angle that its measure is more than 180 and less than 360. Okay, we're talking about the types of angles. Now, if we have two angles or more, we have the relation between the angles. Now we're talking about the relation between the angles. Firstly, the two vertically opposite angles. The two vertically opposite angles is the two angles that make x letter. And these two vertically opposite angles are equal in measure. The two vertically opposite angles are equal in measure. Okay? And other relation is the sum of measures of the accumulative angles at point is 300 degrees. The sum of measures of the accumulative angles at a point is equal 360 degrees. Okay? The third, the sum of measures of the two complementary angles is equal 90. Sum of measures of two complementary angles are equal 90. Then the sum of measures of the two supplementary angles is 180. The sum of measures of the two supplementary angles is equal 180. Now for the complementary angle, the complements of the same angle are equal in measure. The complements of the same angles are equal in measure. And for supplementary angles, the supplements of the same angles are equal in measure. The supplements of the same angles are equal in measure. Okay? Next. Now we're talking about the two adjacent angles. The two adjacent complementary angles, their outer sides are perpendicular. The two adjacent complementary angles, their outer sides are perpendicular. For example, if we have in this figure two angles CBD and DBA, CBD and DBA, it's two adjacent angles. And if measure of angle ABD plus measure of angle DBC is equal 90, then we know that the outer sides are perpendicular. Then AB is perpendicular to BC. Okay? Next. The two adjacent supplementary angles, their outer sides are on the same straight line. The two supplementary angles, their outer sides are on the same straight line. For example, in this figure we have two angles, CBD and DBA, CBD and DBA. If measure of angle ABD plus measure of angle DBC is equal 180, it means the ray BA and the ray BC are on the same straight line. BA and BC are on the same straight line. The two adjacent angles whose outer sides are perpendicular are complementary. It's the inverse of the firstly. The two adjacent angles whose outer sides are perpendicular are complementary. In the opposite figure, we find if B, the ray BA is perpendicular to BC, BA is perpendicular to BC, then it means the measure of angle ABD plus measure of angle DBC is equal 90, okay? The two adjacent angles formed by a straight line and ray with a starting point on this straight line are supplementary. If we have two angles and the outer sides on the same straight lines, it means the sum of measures of two angles are equal 180. If B belong to AC, straight line AC, if B belong to straight line AC, then measure of angle ABD plus measure of angle DBC equal 180. Okay? Now we're talking about congruence. Okay? Where we can say the two line segments are congruent. The two line segments are congruent if they are equal in length. If we have two line segments are equal in length, that means XY 2 centimeters and AB 2 centimeters. It means the two line segments are equal in length. Then the two line segments are congruent. The two line segments are congruent, okay? And where we can say, or when we can say the two angles are congruent. The two angles are congruent if they are equal in measure. If the two angles are equal in measure. For example, if we have two angles XYZ, its measure equal 120 degrees, and the angle ABC, its measure equal 120 degrees, then the two angles are equal in measure. It means, and we can say that the two angles are congruent. The two angles are congruent. Okay? Next. When we can say the two polygons are congruent. If we have two polygons, we can say the two polygons are congruent if their correspondence between their vertices and its sides are equal in measure and equal in length. It means two polygons are congruent if there is correspondence between their vertices such that each side and each angle in the first polygon is congruent to its corresponding element in the other polygon. It means the two polygons are congruent if all vertices in the first equal in measure with all vertices in the second congruent, and all sides in first polygons equal in length that all sides in second polygons. Okay? For example, if we have two polygons A, B, C, D and X, Y, Z, L. In these two polygons, we find that all sides in first equal in length with the two with all congruent with all sides in second polygon. For example, AB equal XY, BC equal YZ, CD equal ZL, AD equal XL, and all angles in first equal all angles in second. Angle A equal angle X, angle B equal angle Y, angle C equal angle Z, and angle D equal angle L. So all sides in first equal all sides in second, and all angles in first equal all angles in second in measure. So these two polygons are congruent. Okay? Now we will talking about the congruence of triangles. The congruence of two triangles. How we can prove the congruence of two triangles. Okay? We firstly start with first case. The first case is we can prove the two triangles are congruent if we have two sides and included angle in first is congruent or equal with the two sides and included angle in second. The two triangles are congruent if two sides and the included angle of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding parts of the other triangle. We can say this case SAS. SAS, it means side, angle, side. Side, angle, side. For example, if we have two triangles ABC and the second triangle DEF, we find that first side AB equal DE and the side BC equal EF and measure of angle B equal measure of angle E. That means two sides and included angle in first and equal to two sides and include angle in second. So we can say these two triangles are congruent. Second case is two angles and one side. It's two angles and one side. Two triangles are congruent if two angles and the other side and the side drawn between their vertices. It means the side must be between the two angles must be equal in two sides. Okay? And the other triangle has two angles and the side drawn between them. So we can say two triangles are congruent if two angles and the side drawn between their vertices of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding parts of the other triangle. Okay شباب. Measure of angle in triangle ABC and triangle DEF. We have measure of angle B equal measure of angle E, and the measure of angle C equal measure of angle F, and the BC equal EF. So we have the three conditions of proving the congruent, and we say the first triangle ABC congruent to triangle DEF, and we call this case ASA. ASA, it means angle, side angle. Okay? Third case is the most simplest case. It's called three sides. Three sides. If we have two triangles, we can say the two triangles are congruent if each side of one triangle is congruent to the corresponding side of the other triangle. Okay? It means all sides in first triangle equal all sides in second or congruent in second triangle. Okay? We have example. We have two triangles ABC and DEF. We find AB equal DE and BC equal EF. AC equal DF. So we have the three sides in first equal the three sides in second or congruent the three sides. It all okay. It means the first triangle ABC is congruent to second triangle DEF. And we call this case SSS. It means side, side, side. Okay? The fourth case, we use this case in if we have two right triangles. If we have two right angled triangles. If we have two right angled triangles, okay? It's called hypotenuse and one side in the right angled triangle. Hypotenuse or hypotenuse and one side in the right angled triangle. The two right angled triangles are congruent if the hypotenuse or the hypotenuse and a side of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding parts of the other triangle. Again, two right angled triangles are congruent if the hypotenuse of and the side of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding parts of the other triangle. If we have, for example, we have two triangles ABC, the right angle triangle at B, and D triangle DEF is right angle triangle at E, and AB equal DE, it's called the sides, and AC equal DF, they are the hypotenuse. So we have side and the hypotenuse in first equal side and the hypotenuse in second. Then we can say the triangle ABC is congruent to the triangle DEF. Okay, we call this case RHS. It means right angle, hypotenuse, and S side. Okay, now we can take some examples for congruence. In opposite figure, C is the midpoint of BC and AC perpendicular to BD, and AB is equal 5 cm, measure of angle B equal 57. Find the length of AD and the measure of angle DAC. Again, in opposite figure, C is the midpoint of BD, it means BC equal CD, and measure of angle B equal 57, and the length of AB is equal 5 cm, and the angle ACB equal 90, or AC is perpendicular to BD. We want to find the length of AD. Solution: we say the congruence. We have two right angled triangles. Now the proof will be in the two triangles ACB and triangle ACB and ACD. It's just a mistake in writing, sorry. It will be ACB and ACD. We have AC is a common side, and measure of angle ACB equal measure of angle ACD equal 90, and CB equal CD. Okay, now we find the three condition to prove congruency exists. Now we can say the triangle ACB is congruent to triangle ACD. Okay يا شباب. sorry. From the congruency, we can say measure of angle B will equal measure of angle D. And measure of angle B equal 57, then measure of angle D equal 57 degrees. And AB will equal to AD, and the AB equal 5 centimeter, then AD will be 5 centimeter. And the measure of angle BAC equal measure of angle ADAC. Okay. If we wanted to find the measure of angle DAC, it will be equal 180 minus 90 plus 57. 180 minus 90 plus 57. It will be 33. Why we use 180? Because the sum of all interior angles of triangle equal 180. Okay. Now for second example. In opposite figure, measure of angle ABD equal measure of angle BDC equal 30 degrees, and measure of angle BAD equal measure of angle BCD equal 110. Prove that triangle ABD congruent to triangle CDB, then find the measure of angle ADB. Again, in opposite figure, we find two triangles. Measure of angle C equal measure of angle A equal 110. Measure of angle ABD equal measure of angle DBC equal 30. And find or prove that the first triangle is congruent to the second triangle. The solution. Firstly, we say the name of two triangles. In triangle ABC and triangle DCB. AB equal DC. AB equal DC. Why AB equal DC and AC equal DB? Because this figure will be parallelogram. Okay, this figure will be parallelogram. Then each two opposite sides are equal in length. This figure will be parallelogram. Then AD equal BC and AB equal DC. Okay. Now AB equal DC and AC equal DB, and the CB is common side. Is the side between the two triangles. Then we find triangle ABC congruent to the triangle DCB. Okay. And the measure of angle A will equal to measure of angle C, and measure of angle ACB sorry يا شباب. We find the measure of angle D equal measure of angle A (180 minus 35 plus 50). No, this is wrong in writing. I'm sorry. We go to the next example. This example يا شباب, example 26 has a wrong and a mistake. Okay, it's a mistake. In the figure opposite this figure, we find AB equal DC and AC is a common side. Measure of angle D equal 60, and the triangle ACB is right angle triangle at C, and triangle CAD is a right angle triangle at A. Okay, prove that the triangle ABC congruent to triangle CDA, and then find the measure of angle BAD. BAD. The two triangle ABC and the triangle CDA, AB is equal CD and AC is a common side, and the measure of angle ACB equal measure of angle DAC equal 90. Then the triangle ABC congruent to the triangle CDA. Then we find AD equal CB and measure of angle ABC equal measure of angle ADC equal 60. Measure of angle BAC equal measure of angle ACD equal 180 minus 90 plus 60 equal 30. Measure of angle BAD equal measure of angle BAC plus measure of angle CAD equal 90 plus 30 equal 120. Okay. Next. We're talking about parallelism. If a straight line intersects two parallel straight lines, if a straight line intersects two parallel straight lines, then we called the straight line that intersects the two parallel straight line is transversal. Okay, the straight line, this straight line that intersects the two parallel straight line is called transversal. Okay, and if we have this straight line that intersects two parallel straight line, we find firstly each two alternate angles are equal in measure. Each two alternate angles are equal in measure. These two straight line, these two angles, alternate angles, that's the two angles that make Z letter, Z letter, Z letter, Z letter. Okay, don't forget it. The alternate angles that make Z. In this figure, we find measure of angle 1 equal measure of angle 2 because these two angles are make Z letter. It's called alternate angles. Number 2, each two corresponding angles are equal in measure. The two corresponding angles are equal in measure. The two corresponding angles are equal in measure. And these two corresponding angles, we can know it where or when we can say, we can see these two angles make F letter. F letter. This F letter corresponding angles make F letter. Okay? Then in this figure, we can find measure of angle 1 equal measure of angle 2 because these two angles make F letter, and we say these angles are called corresponding angles. Number 3, each two interior angles in the same side of the transversal are supplementary. Each two interior angles in the same side of the transversal are supplementary. It means equal 180. Equal 180. And the two interior angles, the two angles that make U letter, U letter, U letter. Okay? The interior make U. Then in this figure, we find measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 equal 180. And if we have one and need the other, we subtracting from 180. Then for the parallel, we find three letters. Z, it called alternate. F called corresponding. U called interior angles in the same side of transversal. Okay? Next. We must remember that how to prove a parallelism of two straight lines. The two straight lines are parallel if a third straight line intersects them and one of the following cases is satisfied. Okay? the two alternate angles have the same measure, or the two corresponding angles have the same measure, or the two interior angles in the same side of transversal are supplementary. Supplementary, it equal 180. Now we will talk about the final thing. Remember that the perpendicular to one of two complementary parallel straight lines is perpendicular to the other. It means if we have two parallel straight lines and the third straight line intersects them and perpendicular for the first, it will be perpendicular for the other. Okay? If AB, straight line AB parallel to straight line CD, and the straight line EF perpendicular to the straight line AB, then the straight line EF will be perpendicular to the straight line CD. Number 2, if two straight lines are parallel to a third straight line, then these two straight lines are parallel. It means if we have two parallel straight lines, look like AB parallel CD, and XY parallel for CD, then XY will be parallel for the first AB. Okay? If we have a straight line AB parallel to straight line XY and straight line CD parallel to straight line XY, then the straight line AB parallel to straight line CD. Number 3, if parallel straight lines divide a straight line into segments of equal lengths, then they divide any other straight lines into segments of equal lengths. Okay? It means if we have more two parallel straight lines and we have two intersecting straight lines to them, if the parts between the first straight line are equal, then the other parts in the second straight line will be equal in length. If a straight line AE parallel to straight line BF parallel to straight line CG parallel to straight line DH, and AD, straight line AD and the straight line EH are transversal to them, then AB and AB equal BC equal CD, it is the parts in first, then the parts in seconds will be equal. It means EF equal FG equal GH. Okay? Now we have some examples on parallelism. In each of the following figure, if AB parallel to straight line CD, then complete. In first, if AB parallel CD, then and the measure of angle BAC equal 62, then find the measure of angle ACD. Firstly, we must know that the measure of angle, or the angle BAC and the angle ACD, they are two angles make U letter, and the U letter is the two interior angles at one side of the transversal. These two interior angles are supplementary, equal 180. Then if we want to find one of them, that now it will be the angle ACD, then the measure of angle ACD will be equal 180 minus 62, it will be equal 118. Okay? Second, we want to find the measure of angle ACD. Firstly, we must know that the angle BAC equals 70 and the angle ACD, these two angles are make Z letter. Then the measure of angle BAC equal measure of angle ACD equal 70 degrees, because these two angles make Z letter, and the Z letter are called alternate angles, equal in measure. It means measure of angle ACD equals 70 degrees. Third, angle EAB, it's measure 120 degrees, and he want the angle ACD. We find that angle EAB and angle ECD make F, a flipped F, okay? And the F letter is called corresponding angles, and the two corresponding angles are equal in measure. Then measure of angle ACD equal measure of angle EAB equal 120 degrees. Okay, next. In opposite figure, the AB parallel CD and AF parallel CD, and measure of angle A equal 42 and the measure of angle C equal 117. Determine measure of angle AEC. Okay, AB parallel EF وEF parallel CD, and the measure of angle 42 equal 42. He want the measure of angle AEC. Now we find measure of angle AEF. Angle AEF equal to measure of angle A. Why? Because these two angles are make Z letter. Then measure of angle A and AEF is two alternate angles equal in measure. Then measure of angle AEF equal 42. In the bottom, measure of angle FEC and the measure of angle DCE is two interior angles. Why? Because these two angles make U, and the two interior angles that make U is called interior angles. Its measure, the sum of two interior angles equal 180. Then measure of angle FEC equal 180 minus 117. 180 minus 117. It will be equal 63. Okay? Measure of angle FEC equals 63. Now we have two angles AEF equal 42 degrees and FEC equal 63. Now the measure of angle AEC equal 42 plus 63, it equal 105. 105 degrees. Now with sum of completes. This example will be exercise for you. This example will be exercise for you. Solve it by yourself. Now with some complete questions, choose the correct answer from those given. Number 1, if measure of angle A equal to 2 of measure of angle B and A complements B, then measure of angle A equal all three angles, it will be 180. Supplement, so sorry, it is complements. The three angle, we have two angles, measure of angle A equal to measure of angle B, then all complements angle are 90 degrees. Now measure of angle A will be 60 because A is the greater one, and if he asks about the B is the smaller, then it will be equal 30. Number 2, the acute supplements angles. The acute supplements angle what? Acute angle supplementary or supplements obtuse, and obtuse angle supplements acute angles. Now we choose obtuse. Number 3, the right angle complements angle whose measure is a 0. Measure 0. Number 4, If measure of angle A is equal 90, then measure of reflex angle A equal, if you ask about reflex angles, we subtract it from 360. It means 360 minus 90, it will be equal to 170. Number 5, the measure of the straight angle equal 180. So look like supplementary angles. Number 6, the angle whose measure is 179. Its type is obtuse, not straight, okay? The type of the angle whose measure is equal 89 will be acute angle. Number 8, the angle is the union of two with the same straight point. This is the definition of angle. The angle is the union of two rays with the same starting point. Number 9, the sum of the measures of two adjacent angles formed by straight line and ray is 180. Okay? The last one, number 10, if the ratio between two supplementary angles is 4 to 5, then the measure of the greater and angle will be 100 degree, because 100, all supplementary angle will be equal 180. Then we have 4, the sum of ratios 4 plus 5 equal 9, and the supplementary 180. Then 180 divided by 9 equal 20. Now we have the smaller with 4 ratio, then 4 times 20 equal 80, and the greater will be 5 ratio, then 5 times 20 equal 100. This is all revision of all geometry. I want you to study carefully and seriously, and I hope you be in good wealth and good happiness. Goodbye with Mr. Muhammad al-Baghdadi. Goodbye.